All right, everyone. Well, this is a very interesting situation because we actually have a very good idea of who's going to be coming out in the next few banners. Now, it's technically not 100% confirmed, but the information is still coming from Netmarble. They just kind of released it in a way where you have to connect the dots a little bit to actually see who is coming out. And I want to share with you guys this information, piece together the pieces of the puzzle, and this will give you a better idea of who to save gems for and who to summon for. So this information is actually coming from the patch notes from last week. And of course, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now, but the thing that I wanted to draw attention to is the Elite Season rules. And if you can see here, we've got the seasonal rule, and then we've got the weekly buffs. And the first weekly buff that I want to draw attention to is Week 2, which has a run date of August 10th through August 16th. Now, first of all, August 10th is actually a Friday, and we don't typically get banners on Friday, so that's something to take note of, but it'll still be roughly around that time. Now, the other thing to take note of is the actual effect itself. Decreases all heroes' damage taken by 50% when assuming stances. Now, we don't really have a ton of units that have stances, or we don't really have a ton of units that also come out with stances, so this really draws attention to a release that we know is now coming very, very soon. And if you connect the dots a little bit, you can actually see that this really strongly points towards the release of Estarossa. Now, getting into Estarossa's skill kit here, his first ability is going to do charge damage, which ignores defense, with a 200% multiplier, then a 300% multiplier rank 2, and a 500% multiplier for rank 3. So not quite as high as the 600% multiplier you'll find on some abilities, but you have that charge effect, which is going to ignore defense, so you're still going to see crazy, crazy numbers from this ability. But this isn't the ability that has the stance. It's actually his second skill right here, which is assumes a stance which taunts enemies for 1 turn and inflicts damage to 240%, and then it goes up to 360%, and then of course you have that 600%, which is the crazy multiplier for the rank 3, as well as boosting it up from 1 turn to 2. So, you know, connecting the dots here, you could definitely see how this week 2 buff decreases all heroes' damage taken by 50% when assuming stances, and Estarossa here, it really lines up to the release of Estarossa coming very soon. Now, getting into his other aspects here besides his skills, you have his ultimate. For 1 turn, take a preemptive attack stance before allies receive damage, deal 300% of this unit's attack to enemies, and nullify all other skill cards of the enemies. And then, of course, he is a commandment, so you have his commandment, but getting into his passive, removes debuffs and grants debuff immunity on the ally that assumes a stance for 2 turns. His commandment: after allies and enemies receive damage, apply a debuff that decreases the attack-related stats of the attacker by 20% for 3 turns. So, very interesting, very unique. I absolutely love this stance right here. There's going to be so much potential, especially with the week that this 50% less damage when stances are active. That's going to just be complete insanity right there. Now, something that I do want to draw attention to, though, is it's the green Estarossa that has the stance right here. There is also red Estarossa, which does not see quite as much use as green Estarossa, and in Global we've seen this trend of both versions of a unit being released in the same banner. We've seen it with Melasculas, but they've also broken it up as well. Like for Gallant, we didn't see that. So, you know, it'll be interesting to kind of see if they follow this trend. I have a feeling like they will, but we really don't know for sure. The important thing about this, though, is noting which unit comes from the actual pull at the banner and which unit will be added to the coin shop. So I want to actually go to this image here, which shows which units are available in the actual Part 1 and Part 2 banners after the regular banner ends. And of course on Global, we don't have all these units yet, so the Part 2 banner is not as fleshed out as we see right here. The Part 1 should be, though. But you can see that Estarossa, it is the red Estarossa, which is added to the actual summoning pool, and the green Estarossa, which is the one that has the stance ability, is actually going to be the coin shop one, at least according to everything on JP and all the info that we have here, which means that if we see the similar trends that we've seen on JP come to Global, especially if we have the banner with both of the Estarossas out, it's important to note that you will have the option to get the green Estarossa from the coin shop if you do decide to skip out on the banner. And that's especially important if you're free to play. There's just so much stuff that is coming out. There's no way you're going to be able to summon and get absolutely everything that you want on every banner release. So making that decision of having to skip out on the banner, waiting a few weeks until the coin shop, it does mean that unfortunately you're going to, probably miss out on the seasonal PvP buff, but, at least you have that option there. It is available. So now the next part that I want to talk about is the week 3 buff, which starts on August 17th. Once again, it is a Friday. We don't typically see banners on Fridays, so could be a couple days from that period right there. But we have the seasonal rule of increases all heroes damage dealt by with single target attacks by 58%. Now this one is a little bit more vague. Obviously we don't have as many taunt units or many taunt units that come out, so it's pretty easy to connect the dots right there to Estarossa. This one, a little bit more difficult to connect the dots, but still, I think it's going to be Red Derriere here, especially with the timeline and how everything has been adding up. This seems to be the extremely likely release for that week 3 seasonal buff. And if you take a look at Derriere's skill kit, you'll see how, the lines do add up and the pieces of the puzzle, they start to make a lot more sense. So getting into her actual kit here, first skill, inflicts damage 240%, single target. Rank 2 is going to be bumped up to 360%, and then the rank 3 is going to be bumped up to 600%. So you've got that 600% multiplier, which is absolute insanity, crazy, crazy damage. Just, I don't think you see anything, at least not yet anyway, that has anything higher than 600% on just a regular card. And if you take a look at her second ability, it's going to increase her basic stats. So basic stats by 20% for 2 turns. Then it's 30% up from 20%, adds an evasion, and then the basic stats gets boosted from 2 turns to 3 turns and from 30% to 50%. And not only is this going to give her more damage and more survivability for her first card, but the basic stats also works with her ultimate. You can see here that it's got Amplify, and the basic stats there, you've got the attack, HP, defense, you've also got the potential for the evasion there. That's going to increase the damage of her ultimate by an insane amount. So, inflicts Amplify damage equal to 630% of attack on one enemy. And of course, she's also got her unique and commandment, increases attack by 10% when the hero uses a skill. The buff goes away when no skills are used on the turn. So super, super important, whether you use her skill 1 or her skill 2, that's going to keep her attack stacked up. This is why she is going to hit complete insanity, just like nothing before. The damage is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Everything just lines up for her to do a ton of damage. All her skills synergize super, super well. And taking a look at the commandment as well, decreases the damage dealt by ranged attacks of allies and enemies in PvP by 35%. So now the important note about Derriere is it's the red Derriere that typically sees more use. Just like Estarossa, there is a red version and a green version. You have green Derriere here. However, if you actually take a look at which of the versions is going to be in the summoning pool and which version is going to be added to the coin shop, you can see that if we look at this image, once again showing the units that come to the banners after their specified release, it is both the red Estarossa and the red Derriere, which are going to be available in the actual summoning pool, and the green version is going to be the coin shop version. Now, this is important specifically for Derriere because it's the red Derriere that actually sees the most use and most power here compared to Estarossa, where it's actually his green version that's going to see more use compared to his red version. So what that means is it's probably going to be much more tempting to actually summon on the Derriere banner, because when she comes out, you're not going to have that option to get red Derriere from the coin shop. If you decide to skip out, you'll have to get her. You will still be able to get her in the future. She's just going to be added to the regular summoning pool, so you'll have to get her there. And of course, the rate up on the general banners are not as high as the rate up on the specified banners. So my personal plans here, probably going to be skipping out on Estarossa. Not 100% yet, but I'm leaning towards it because I can end up getting him from the coin shop. And for Derriere, I feel like I'm going to be a lot more tempted to actually summon on her regular banner when it comes out. So, that's the timeline. That's the actual dates right there. Of course, can't make a video like this without also saying that it's important to keep an eye on the fact that we are approaching the possibility of Lost Vein Meliodas coming out very, very soon as well. So if you are free to play and you don't have a lot of gems right now, it might even be in your best interest to, just really think about that as your main goal, because he's going to be somebody you are absolutely going to want to summon on. So, wanted to get this info out there. Let me know what you guys think about what's coming in the future. Again, it's not 100% confirmed, but you can connect the dots, add up the pieces of the puzzle. It really does line up, especially with the seasonal rules that we have here. And let me know what you guys plan on doing. With that being said, though, that's going to be it for the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. And if you did and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Feel free to leave a quick like as well. It means more than you can imagine. So thank you so much to all of you who decide to do that. And more videos should be popping up on the screen right about now, or in the suggested videos to your right or below. Feel free to check them out. More guides, tutorials, and fun videos just like this on the channel. But if not, until next time, take care, everyone. This is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.